Back, please have both knees bent with feet on the mat. And just notice how your body is resting on the floor. Let your arms drop to your side. Feel that your palms are facing towards the sky. And as you take a breath, invite your body to arrive to your practice and to arrive in stillness. So if you need to make any adjustments, please do so. And then cultivate stillness on your mat. And then take a slow, deep breath and invite your mind to arrive. Again, in stillness. If you find that you're caught up in distractions, take a moment and the plan is to let those distractions be, but not give time to them. Do not follow them down the rabbit hole. Just let them go past you. And then as you take another deep breath, bring your awareness to your heart center. And feel a connection to the heart. It's boundless, limitless, infinite in its capacities. And as you're taking a slow, deep breath into that heart center, can you connect to an inner wisdom or guidance? And perhaps an intention for your practice will come to you. If you have that intention, can you articulate it as a statement, may I, and repeat that statement 3 times. Let your palms come together at your heart. Take a moment to welcome yourself into your practice. Namaste. The arms will reach up to the sky and just feel that the backs of the shoulders are heavy to the mat, but especially the space behind your heart. So the point that is intended to actually rest on the floor as we're lying down here is the space behind the heart. I'm going to let my arms cross, one over the other. Right hand's reaching back to touch my left shoulder. Left hand's reaching back to touch the right shoulder. And this just gives me a little bit more of a sense of weightedness into that space behind my heart. Can you begin to breathe slowly and deeply into the space behind the heart? As you inhale, you can actually feel the back of the rib cage getting a little bit heavier or harder against the floor with the inhalation. And then when you exhale, those ribs just soften into the mat. Take 3 slow, deep breaths there. And as you exhale and release that last breath, just let your arms drop to your side and notice if it feels at all different for you in that upper back. Next, we'll take the right arm and hold it beside your body. So it's right beside your trunk. Turn your right palm down into the floor and really keep the right palm into the floor. Try to stretch your right fingers as far away from you as possible. So you're drawing the right shoulder down from your ear. Lengthen the neck. And could you please turn your head to the left? As you stay here, you're breathing into that right shoulder. And I'm going to let my right leg stretch out as well. And please stay focused, breathing slowly and deeply. Again, about 3 breaths. But my right palm stays on the floor. And my head and neck are turned left. Let the head come to center and bring that right hand and arm into the body line. Goes up to the ceiling. Feel that right shoulder heavy into the mat. And just take it slowly, but could that right arm lengthen and reach long past the right ear, and just feel a nice long lengthening stretch through the right leg. It's almost as if the right side of the body could grow 1/2 inch longer or taller than the left side. And then gently bring that right arm back down to the floor. Let both legs stretch out for a moment. Just notice how you feel through the whole body. And again, slowly knees bend with feet on the ground, arms to the sky. And this time, let your palms come together as you exhale. And as you inhale, just open the arms out at the chest line, maybe making a letter T. Beautiful. Both arms come up as you exhale. And both arms open out as you inhale. And just let the movement be a slow, easy movement for you, but a sense of expanding through the chest, heart, and then bringing all of that energy inward to you. Reaching out with your heart energy into the world, and then drawing it into you. And one last time. And when your arms come together, let them stay above your chest, fingers interlaced, and just gently let the arms go behind you towards your head, and then come back over, maybe aiming towards the hips or the legs. So just an inhale that lengthens back, and an exhale that comes up and towards the hips, and a last time. And when those arms come back, let the hands release, and again, the focus is the left hand. Turn your palm down into the floor. It's right beside your body. Really reach the left fingers long and away from you. Lengthen the neck. Let the head turn right. And then just could you let the left leg lengthen out long. And take 3 slow, deep breaths. The focus would be breathing into the left shoulder. You might even find that you're able to breathe into the back of the left lungs and ribs. Let the head come center and the arm goes straight up to the ceiling. Again, feel the back of the left shoulder heavy to the mat. And then could you lengthen and stretch that left arm long? And we have a long stretch, left fingers, left foot. And then with the next breath, let that arm come up and come down. Both legs go out, and just notice how your body feels as you lie here for a moment. The kind of positioning of the body with the back of the shoulders and ribs onto the floor. Let your head turn right to left, and notice the ease of mobility or if there are any restrictions. And then if you would, gently let your knees bend with feet on the floor and let your hands rest here at your side, palms down. Try to stretch your fingers towards your feet, and you're really holding your shoulders away from your ears. The Yoga Bandha, draw the navel inward, slightly upward to the heart, activating the pelvic floor. Let the right foot come off the ground and put it down, and then the left foot. And the movement is just, if possible, in sync with your breath. Inhale when the feet are down and exhale when a foot comes up. And I can start to slow it down a little bit more. When I bring a knee up towards me, I'm going to hug that knee towards my chest. And inhale that foot down and exhale the other leg, knee towards chest. I take my time as I'm doing it. I'm going to really try to draw the thigh bone onto my ribs. And I am thinking about my knee coming maybe up towards my chin. And I'm going from my knees being bent to letting one leg go out straight and one knee bend to my chest. And both legs out straight, other knee to chest. Again, inhaling when the legs are out and exhaling when a knee comes in. I just do one more. And when that knee comes in, let it stay here. Bring both knees up to your chest and gently hug these knees into you a little bit. Again, feel the backs of the shoulders and the backs of the ribs coming down onto the mat. And let those thigh bones be heavy. That's really going to help to keep the ribs towards the floor. I'll let my left foot come down onto the floor and straighten my right leg up to the sky. And let your right toes point and flex. And as you do so, let your hands hold on behind the right thigh. Not aggressive in a stretching way, but just letting your hands wrap around that right thigh bone to give you a sense of support. I'm going to flex my right foot, and could your right foot go to ballet class so it turns out? And then let it turn in. And let your right foot turn out. That's it. And right foot turns in. And the last time the right foot turns out. And it turns in. Bring it to neutral. Let the right ankle rest on the left thigh. And just invite that right knee to open a bit. Our first actual pose is eye of the needle. And if you could, lift off the left foot. Both feet are flexed. I can let my hands hold around the outside of my thigh, or I can wrap right hand under the right leg, left hand on top. Again, focus on the shoulders melting down from the ears. And a slow, deep breath into the back lungs and ribs, or maybe breathing towards the navel. And just slowly let the left foot start to come down. So it's going to be left foot on the floor, and then ease out the right foot. Let both legs stretch out long. As your legs go long, hold your hands by the side of your body and pull your shoulders up to your ears. And now pull your shoulders down and away from your ears and keep them down, reaching fingers towards feet for a count of 5, 4, 3. As you inhale, pull the shoulders to the ears. And as you exhale, pull them away. Keep breathing out. 5, 4. Last time, inhale, shoulders to ears. And when you exhale, pull the shoulders away from the ears and hold 5, 4, and relax. I'm going to bend my right knee, foot on the floor, and let the left leg stretch up to the ceiling. And again, a light point and flex of the foot, and just an easy hold behind the left thigh. And as you're here, do you have a sense of connecting to your breath and being able to slow the breathing down just a bit? Being intentional that perhaps it's 4 counts to inhale, and intentional as you exhale, maybe for 4 counts or 6 counts. Or maybe there's another number that suits for you. Flex your foot, left leg in ballet class turned out, and then turn it in, and let it turn out, and let it turn in. Last time out, last time in. Let it come neutral, and left ankle to right thigh. Could you lift off the right foot? And just decide your hands can support the legs, or left arm under, right arm top. Eye of the needle. And then gently float down the right foot, let the left foot go. Let both legs lengthen to stretch out long. And then gently bring your palms to your heart and lightly press into the hands. Maybe feel that you've engaged at the underarms. You're going to extend those legs long, straight down from their respective hips. But notice the back rib cage, and are you able to feel weighted space behind the heart onto the mat? Let the hands release and the knees bend, feet on the floor. Roll to your right so you come to hands and knees and cat and cow. And as you come up to cat and cow, could you make the movements small? So on a scale from 1 to 10, 1's the least and 10's the most, maybe just make it a level 2. That's a very small motion. I'm just kind of seeing how my body feels as I'm doing this. And I'm going to focus slightly differently. Could you really feel the imprint of the right hand and left hand into the floor? And as you're there, can you feel as you inhale that your shoulder blades draw inward towards the back? And as you exhale, your shoulder blades broaden out. And could you start to make the movement bigger and bigger and bigger so that you inhale and gaze forward, shoulder blades down the back, and exhale, shoulder blades broad as you round. Inhale 9 and exhale 8. And for your final one, could you just come to neutral, but really have a sense of connecting to your hands and broadening your shoulders a bit. Let the hips come to the feet and lengthen your hands and arms up into a child's pose with arms long. Feel that your shoulder blades are broad, and along the outside shoulder line, you're reaching up to the small finger in the palm. And just have this nice long lengthening stretch. And again, especially feeling broad in the shoulders. And as you inhale, let yourself come back up, hands and knees. And again, please start small, scale from 1 to 10, just maybe a level 2. Tailbone tilts upward towards the ceiling, tailbone tucks under. And I'm going to focus a little bit more into my hips and legs, and I'm going to press the top of my right foot into the mat. Press the top of the left foot into the mat. And then let it start to build. Tailbone draws upward. Tailbone tucks under. Abdominals soft as you inhale deeply into them. Exhale, pull the navel in deeply. You may be activating the pelvic floor. And if you can, come back to those shoulders. Inhale, shoulder blades down the back. And exhale, shoulder blades broad. One last one. And then finding your neutral. Hips to feet and hands and arms lengthen forward. Again, if you can, feel the navel draw inward to you. And find broadness in the shoulders and a nice long line that lengthens from the outer shoulder up to the small finger of each hand. Take it slowly, rise up, hands and knees. This time curl your toes under and just really focus on the stretch in the feet and toes. And again, palms down, shoulder blades broaden. Could you lift off the knees and the shins and gently let your hips lift up to the ceiling? And we'll start with the right foot. Let that right knee bend for a moment. And as you're here, just really focus on my hands, the small finger, and those broad shoulders. And see if that helps you relax your neck a little bit. Put down the right foot and let the left knee bend. And just focus on those feet. Coming to the ball of one foot, change to the ball of the other foot, and only do 9 of them, and 8, and 7. Let both heels lift up to the sky. Really feel your calf muscles and pull those heels down. Heels lift 1 and heels down 2. Heels lift 3 and lower on 4. Keep the outside of the shoulders broad. Remember, shoulder blades are broad. Neck is nice and long. Last one. Let your heels press down to hold. As you exhale, lower the knees. Come down into that child's pose, but let it be soft and relaxed for you. And your hands could always stack at this point to rest. As you inhale, come up to hands, this time forearms down with elbows. And just take a moment to be here. Same thing, cat and cow. Inhale, shoulder blades down the back, and then exhale, shoulder blades broad. And the tailbone is moving. And I'm thinking about, as I inhale, gazing forward, and exhale, gazing inward. One last one. And then gently come to neutral. Keep your elbows bent, but could you lift the right elbow to your right and gaze outward? And then bring it in and gaze inward. Other arm lifts, gaze outward. Put it down to gaze inward. So you inhale, outward gaze. Exhale, inward gaze. Yeah, just one more. When I come to center, I'm coming up to hands and knees, and I'll start with left hand on the mat. Right arm opens to the right. I can again gaze outward, and then come under and gaze inward. Open outward again. Come under and through. Beautiful. Here's my last one. Now when I come under, I'm down onto my right shoulder, right side of my head. I'm going to take my left fingertips to the mat first and press into them to give me some support. I can flatten my left palm into the mat, and again, as I press to it, it helps me rotate. And then if I'm really comfortable, my left hand could come up on my hip. Just make certain you've activated the Yoga Bandha in support. Beautiful. Hands coming down, you're going to slowly unwind. Hands and knees, you could start with those broad shoulders, and then left arm reaches out. I'm gazing left, and then come under, gazing right, or gazing out as you inhale, gazing in as you exhale. 2 more. Beautiful. And last one. Come all the way under and through. I'm on my left shoulder. I'm on the left side of my head. I want to relax my shoulder away from my ear. Start on the right fingertips. Make that strong. And then flatten into the right palm. So again, it's strong. And just breathe easily with that. And only if it's comfortable for you, right hand on the hips. Slowly unwind. It's hands and knees. Again, a broadness in the shoulders. Toes curling. Could you lift off just your shin bones? And with the next breath, lift to downward dog. Feel the heels coming down into the floor, and feel your sits bones high up in the hips, and let those rise to the ceiling so that you have a long stretch from your sits bones to your heels. Beautiful. Downward dog, any pose where the head is below the heart, has that sense of quieting the mind a little bit more, and also of noting that we can privilege the wisdom of the heart over the mind. Easy breath as you exhale, lower the knees, draw the hips back to the feet for that long lengthening stretch. As you inhale and come up, take a downward dog. Again, broad shoulders, feet back, and then slightly draw the shoulder blades down the back body. Could you let the right knee bend, touches the mat and comes up. Left knee bends, touches and comes up. It's a really small lowering of the knee and then drawing it up. And I'm activating the front of my thigh to do this. I'm going to soften both knees down, draw back those hips, lengthen to stretch. Inhale up, exhaling downward dog. Now, we've done a number of things. If something particularly resonated for you, work with that concept. Maybe it's the sits bones to the heel in the stretch. Maybe it's working the feet. Maybe it's the broadness in the shoulders and a liberated neck. As you exhale, come to the knees, child's pose, drawing back. And then rising up, broadening the shoulders to start, coming into the plank, and then slightly letting the shoulder blades draw down the back body. Knees down, child's pose stretch. Inhaling to the knees and exhaling to downward dog, finding your particular point of awareness or focus. Deep breath, exhaling to the knees and into a child's pose, just flowing in your own time. Inhaling up to hands and knees to plank. Again, going from a broad shoulder to a slight shoulder blade down the back, feeling long. And as you exhale, lower your knees and go back into that child's pose. And a final time, inhale, rising. Exhaling, downward dog. Inhaling down to the knees, exhaling into child's pose. And our final one, inhaling to hands and knees, creating that plank as you exhale, breathe in, hold. Relax the knees. Just let your hips shift a little bit right to left. Maybe think about being playful with it. Just a light, easy shifting of the hips. When I shift my hips to the right, I think about my head turning right, looking to my hip. Shift the hips left, maybe looking left. Could you see your hips? And just this light, easy shifting. And then as you come center, come to lie down onto the abdomen. Let those hands come in right underneath the shoulders, palms to the floor. Legs nice and long, maybe tip of the nose to the mat as you inhale. Pubic bone drops and the chest starts to rise. And can you prop up to your elbows and forearms? Again, once you're here, be strong into the hands and forearms. Let your legs lengthen. Inhale, can you begin to let your eyes gaze along the path of your mat or the floor, looking a little more outward into the world? Nice deep breath, lengthen to come down. I'm going to take my hands by my side, lengthen my neck, and turn my head right side of the face to the mat. So my head's turned right. I'm going to take my left hand up onto the small of my back. It could be at my hip, or I might be able to bring my left elbow and forearm across my waistline. Let the left hand go. Keep your head where it is. It's looking left, but could the right hand come up on the hip or possibly up across the small of the back? And again, just take a deep breath there. I'm going to let my hands release, bring my hands under my shoulders, tip of the nose back to center on the mat. Slowly drop the pubic bone, lift the breastbone. Could you come up to the forearms, shoulders soften down and away from the ears? And again, can you gaze forward as you breathe? Sphinx pose. Slowly lengthen and fold down. Okay, so here we go. The head's going to turn the other way. I'm turning my head right and putting the left side of my face down on the mat. Could the right hand come up on the small of the back or across the waistline? You might become more mindful of the ability to breathe into the back of you as well as the front of you, maybe feeling your back hand experiencing the movement of breath. And then change That hands down, other hands up, and breathing with it. Slowly let both hands come under your shoulders, palms to the floor, tip of the nose to the mat. And as you inhale, could you bring up your trunk, come to your forearms? We're in that Sphinx. Nice long body. Feel that you're able to sink the pubic bone, lift the breastbone, lengthen the neck. Could your eyes look right and your head turn right? And as you come center, keep the neck long. Could you turn the head left? And gently let the head come center. Slowly lower the trunk, but let the hands reposition out wide. Knees bend up. And just very easily activate the abdomen. Push up and come back into a child's pose. Just light and easy in that transition. And slowly come up, hands and knees. I'm going to let the soles of my feet come together as I sit for a moment. And it's just going to be a momentary cobbler's pose, just getting comfortable, letting my heels come in a little bit closer to me and my hands underneath my ankle bones, gently pressing them down to the floor, thinking about lengthening up. Take an easy breath. And then my fingers come behind me. I lean back a little bit and I'll take my legs out. I'm going to scoop back my buttock. I am thinking about my sits bones and sitting to it. And from my right sits bone, lengthening to my right heel, left sits bone to left heel. And just take a moment. Fingers maybe by your side or on your thigh bones to give you a sense of length. Eyes look right, head turns right. And we're center, eyes left, head left. Everything's long, beautiful. And then gently come center, soles of the feet together, back to that cobbler's pose. Not very long, but the ankle bones press into the hands and the chest and trunk lift tall. And again, letting the hands come back, a little bit of a lean back to stretch those legs out. Thinking about your sits bones, that's what you're sitting on, and the legs lengthening out from there. Could your hands very slowly start to walk forward to wherever they can get to? So again, not necessarily thinking about it as a forward bend, but just that my hands went for a walk. And then let those hands walk back to you. And then your trunk will respond. And as my hands walk out, I'm just going to lengthen my torso and let my torso come forward a bit. And as my hands walk back, I'm going to start to lift my trunk up. Think about breastbone rising, not going quickly, going slowly. Last time walking, I think of myself being at the beach, and that first bit of sand that I'm getting to after I left my car, that's thick, heavy sand. Walking back, it's harder to walk through. My movements would be slow. And then when you come back to neutral center, fingertips to your side, can you lengthen? Eyes right, head right. Beautiful. And we're center, eyes left, head left. And we're center last time, soles of the feet in. Easy on that cobbler's pose, just that easy open. I'm going to let my right elbow be heavy into my right thigh bone a little bit, so I'm pressing down. Left elbow to the left thigh, just a gentle press. Come to sit up. As we exhale, legs out, long stretch. Fingertips at my side as I lengthen up. Eyes right, head right. And center, eyes left, head left. Beautiful. And as I come center, I'll let my legs just open out. Bend the left knee in first and the right one in second. Again, just maybe scooting back on the buttock, more on the sits bones, hands out in front of me, and I'm at that beach. It's a slow walk out. And as your hands come forward, can the elbows soften a bit? Can the elbows or forearms touch the floor, shoulders soften away from the ears? Reach the hands and fingers forward and lengthen the back and trunk. And again, let your hands walk through sand to come back and bring you up. I'm going to come left elbow onto my left thigh and my right hand's up to my right knee. Lengthen the trunk and rotate to look right a little bit. I can stay here. I can put my right hand on my right shoulder or stretch my right arm out nice and long as I hold a very easy side stretch. And as I come up, right hand's coming behind me, left hand's over to my right knee, lengthen up in the center, and can you rotate right? Your ribs, your shoulders, beautiful. And then gently unwind. So here we go. We're going to take out right foot and then left foot. And bring the right foot in first and the left foot in second. And again, just try to be sitting more to the sits bones, a little more comfortable as we sit here. Right elbow heavy down onto my right thigh bone. Left hand's over to my knee. I'm going to gently lengthen and press and gaze a little bit left. And then here goes my left hand. It could stay where it was. It could move to my shoulder. It could lengthen long. And as I come up, left hand's behind me. Right hand's over to my left knee. Lengthen, lift up, and could you rotate to look left? And then gently as we come to center, take that cobbler's pose, soles of the feet together. Hands come underneath the ankle bones, and I'm pressing down into them. And I think about my thighs coming heavy towards the earth, and I'm just gently sitting up long and tall, maybe letting the head turn a little bit to get comfortable, but breathe and hold. I'll ease my hands behind me, let my legs just ease out long. And again, I'm going to hold, but in a staff pose. Think about sitting onto the sits bones with the legs out long, the shins heavy to the mat, thigh bones heavy to the mat. Hands could be one on top of the other in the lap. Fingertips could be at the side body, but the shoulders often down away from the ears. The gaze is forward and the legs are strong and active. And then gently let that soften and release. I'm going to take a moment and let the soles of my feet come together, but round forward. So bound angle, reclining pose. I scoot my hips back just a little bit, and I let my hands just very easily hold my feet in place. My arms are on the outside of my shins. My tummy is soft as I round forward, and my neck and shoulders are relaxed. I could let my head shift a little bit right to left. And just let there be a sense of ease in the pose. So some places to breathe. The pose is intended to be supportive into the kidneys. So those kidneys rest under the waistline in the back area, one on the right, one on the left. And it's possible to breathe slowly and deeply into your low back, again, below your waistline. It's also possible to focus the breathing more in the abdomen and letting the breath become very soft and relaxed, so that the inhalation is about softening the belly, releasing any tension, stress, or strain there. Let the hands be on the mat, and you can start to walk the hands back towards you, and maybe very slowly bring up your trunk. Is it possible to let the legs come in and then open out? Same thing, I'm going to stretch out my legs, but take a moment to just kind of shift back the flesh of the buttock as I sit in a wide-legged pose. I'm on my sits bones. Again, my shin bones and thigh bones are heavy to the mat. It's a very active pose. I'll hold my fingertips at my side just to help me lengthen up. Okay, so really be strong into the right foot. Let your left hand come in front of you and your right hand be behind you. Lengthen and lift up the trunk and turn and face that right leg. And again, you take it slowly. You might imagine just walking your feet out at the beach. Just finding a way to come into a lengthening forward fold over that right foot. I'm going to reach the heel of my right hand and put it on my toes or ball of my foot, and let my fingers of my right hand hold on around the arch of the right foot. So I'm really giving a strong stretch into my right foot for the plantar fascia, as well as lengthening my trunk here. I'm going to let my hands come down and just walk myself back up. I'm going to sit in center for a moment, lengthening tall. Left hand's behind me, right hand's in front of me. Lengthen up, rotate left, and again, let your hands walk slowly. I can't think of a slower way to express walking than walking through sand, but maybe you have another one. It could be walking to your mother-in-law's house. I would have very slow feet if I were doing that. Here's the heel of my left hand on my toes. It could be more at the ball of your foot, and my fingers coming down to the arch of my left foot, and I'm really focusing on drawing my toes towards my face. Again, the stretch is in the foot at the plantar fascia. And again, the hands come down, and it's just this slow walk back up. And we're coming back to how we started. So I'll let my left knee bend in first, and then my right. My right foot's in the front of me. I'm putting my left elbow down on my left thigh, and it really helps to press the left thigh into the floor. Right hand at the right knee lengthens, so there's this little rotation. And can the arm come up and overhead? So I've done this already a few times. Does it feel any differently coming up as we're coming towards the end of our practice? Left hand to the right knee, right hand's behind you, lengthen up, and a gentle rotation right. You might notice too, if even your breathing is just a little bit more expansive, more breathing through the ribs, I'm going to ease myself out. And again, my right foot comes out, my left foot comes out, my right foot comes in, my left foot is in the front. And again, comfortable as I sit. My right elbow comes down on this right thigh bone. Left hand's at my knee, I lengthen. And can I take the arm overhead? Remember, if it's ever uncomfortable in the shoulder, your hand could be on the shoulder. Your hand could stay at your waist or keep pressing into the thigh. Always make a pose be comfortable for you in this moment. Slowly let the hands come down and the trunk come up. Right hand's to my left knee. Left hand's behind me. Lengthen up. Rotate left. Take a look and breathe. And again, maybe you're able to breathe a little bit deeper into the rib cage. Maybe you have more of a sense of the back of the heart. Hopefully something that I've been speaking about has resonated for you today. As you gently unwind, let those feet go out and let yourself lie down to be in a happy baby. So as you're coming down onto your back, take your time, lengthen the trunk. Again, think about the back of the heart being a point that really sinks into the floor for you. And then can you bring up the knees? They separate. Soles of the feet are skyward, and you could just hold wherever you can. It could be the big toe, the insides of the feet, the outsides of the feet. And again, if possible, breathe deeply into the belly this time to soften and relax. The happy baby has a happy tummy. And again, a happy baby tends to coo, so I'm not asking anyone to try to replicate that sound. But I am going to ask that we try to take a slow, deep breath in, and when you exhale, let your mouth open and let the exhalation be audible 3 times. might notice that you even got a little bit deeper into the pose as you did that. You're going to slowly let your hands release from the feet. Slowly release at the ankles. Slowly let the feet come down to the mat. And again, just get comfortable as you let the legs slide out and away from you. Feel the arms drop at your side with the palms up, and at first just notice how your body feels and how it may have changed over the course of our practice. And know that you have choice to keep the legs out or to instead have the knees be bent with feet on the ground, knees touching and feet apart, whichever works most comfortably for you to relax with. And again, as you're here, just take a nice easy breath, inviting the body to become still and at rest. Another breath and inviting the mind to quiet. And can you bring your awareness, your breath, into a few specific body points? A very brief Yoga Nidra practice. Taking a breath, draw the breath into the bridge of the nose or the space between the eyebrows. You might focus your attention there. You might imagine a beautiful beam of light. It would be azure blue, or perhaps you'd like to work with another color or simply light. Next breath, move down to the base of the throat, breathing into that part of the body, perhaps working with light or color. Moving the breath down to the center of the chest at the heart center. Bring your awareness there, the ability to breathe into that part of the body. An intention of connecting to it. Move the breath to the navel. Awareness to the navel, light, color. Come down to the low abdomen, pubic bone. And move the awareness back to the navel, breathing, point of light or color. Heart center. Base of the throat. Space between the eyebrows or bridge of nose. Taking a breath, feel connection to each of the points. Beam of light or color. 5 points moving through the body with awareness there. And from those points of light, can you imagine almost like a spider's web, a circuitry of light and energy going out from each point to illuminate, to bathe in breath and energy, the skull and all points of it, along through the neck and throat to the shoulders and into the arms, hands, and fingers. Again, feel each point of light can just move energy through your body into all spaces of the lungs, ribs, and trunk, down through the belly. And again, for a moment, having those legs out long, just envision that breath and energy moving into the legs, down to the feet and toes. With your next breath, let the palms come to the heart. And take a moment to bring your practice to a close, honoring and celebrating yourself in gratitude. Namaste. I thank you for joining, but I encourage you to move slowly, especially for those of us still to drive home. Maybe really taking your time and bending your knees, rolling to one side, and lingering for as long as you need to in order to feel fully awake and just really ready and energetic for your departure. I thank you very much for coming, and I wish you a beautiful evening.